Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Climbing Series. I'm Marcus, a not-so-great climber from Vancouver, Canada, who's hoping to get a little bit better through analysis and increased motivation for climbing. I'm really excited about this week's episode because it features a lot of good climbs, and I think it's one of the best climbing weeks I've had in a while. So starting off, we are here in Hive, Surrey, and it's because there's a purple climb on the slab that I think I can get, and it's the last day that's going to be up. I start off warming up on this blue 3 hex, and I do fall on my first attempt, and it's just because I don't bring my left foot up to this higher hold that I'm on. So after making that quick and easy fix, it was an easy set. Next was this purple 3 hex, and I had seen quite a lot of people fall on this, even some pretty strong climbers. So I was definitely interested to see how it is. And it's interesting because that big purple hold there on the left, I just literally never use it. Instead of going to it, I just go all the way to the little foot chip. And I think this press move with the shoulder was actually pretty hard. You just have the one arm pulling you. I guess you have the crimp on the left, but it doesn't really help with the press. And so I definitely do think it was one of the harder threes, and I was really glad to be able to flash that. This pink 4 hex is something I tried last episode and was really struggling on, but coming in fresh, it felt completely different. I stick this move left hand no problem, and I'm able to bring that right hand in there and hold that without too much issue. So I definitely thought that this one seemed really hard last time, but I think coming in fresh, it just felt so easy. So I was happy to get that right at the start of my session. So this orange 5 hex, one of my friends recommended it, and I think recently someone once told me that they think I'm really good at dual text holds, and I kind of laughed about it before, but I actually think that kind of is the case. I've been getting lots of my best sends are usually on dual text holds, so that's something I'm kind of realizing. But yeah, it starts off with this kind of campusy move at the beginning. I get the little toe hook in onto the start, and then I fire off to this crimp. And the crimp is not amazing. I definitely have to hit it on the right spot. There was definitely a couple times that I hit the wrong spot. And yeah, I think it's also really important to get a really good right foot there. So here I stick the crimp a lot better. This time I switch the feet so that I can go out left. And this middle section felt pretty easy. The feet are amazing. These holds are pretty good, I would say. And here I realized I just gotta throw out right nice and big, and I unfortunately hit the lower portion of that hold. So I climb up, just testing out this middle to top sections, just to see how hard it is. And this time I hit in the right spot, and I'm trying to figure out where in the world do I place the feet. I throw a left hand, and I managed to catch it, and then just launch myself to the top. And if you see, my hand is actually, I get the distance. I think it's just a little bit too far to the right, and so that's something I kind of keep in mind for my next attempt. Another big change here is, you'll see, so again, this top part, not amazing. And I think throwing left was really hard, so instead I decided to try and match here first. You can't see it, but I realized I end up sticking my thumb into the bolt hold, and it makes the hold feel so much better. But this section is really difficult. I try and go for the match here, and I do manage to hold it for a split second. So I'm convinced at this point that I can probably do it. And especially with how tiring and fatiguing this climb is, I wanted to do it from the bottom and just give this one last really good go. So the beginning part's feeling a lot smoother. It's easier to get that toe hook in. I hit the crimp properly. Get this big move here. You watch me stick my thumb right into the bolt hold. I get the left hand. I stick the match, and now I'm realizing, oh my gosh, I just have to campus this. And I'm right there. honestly, I feel like my hand placement looks just fine. And maybe it's just a matter of really prepping into that last jump a little bit better. So feeling really fired up. I do give this another couple attempts, but unfortunately, yeah, I was just way too gassed, and I couldn't even get through this first section very well. So decided to move on, but I was really happy to have like that 5 hex that I can project and work on, because I have not gotten a 5 hex in a little while, and I think that one's a proper solid 5 hex. So this purple 4 hex is the reason why I was here in Surrey today. It's being taken down in a couple days, and I really wanted to get this climb. So if you had watched previous episodes, I got stuck here, but this time I was able to get all the way to that other hold on the right there and bring the left foot up, which felt amazing. And then I realized this finish hold is so far. I have no idea really how I'm supposed to get there. It's far enough left over the left foot that it's terrifying to get to. You don't really have any hands to pull you towards it, because they're both like presses. So I try and feel out the top and just see what it feels like, and practice trying to go there using the down climb hold, just to give myself a little bit more confidence in making the move. But it feels very, very difficult. So on that attempt, I forgot to move the right hand up before getting the foot up all the way. So I try and fix that on this attempt. So I go right hand first, and then bring the left foot up all the way. And I'm trying to figure out how in the world I'm supposed to launch from here even. I really want to get that right foot up, but all my weight is on that right foot. In fact, more than my weight is on that right foot, especially since I'm pressing. So I kind of try and launch there, and you see I don't get any distance. I just go bail straight to the down climb. But again, I really want to get this climb, so I told myself I'm just going to commit to this last move. It might be scary, but we're going to just go for it. So I get the right hand here. I'm staring right at it, come off the wall, and oof. I'm not sure if you can see it in this replay, but my chest just absolutely smashes into the purple hold there on the left. And because of that, I have genuinely zero idea how I was supposed to do that. So I move on to this orange 5 hex, which I tried a few episodes ago. I also mentioned that I think slab is something I'm going to do a little bit more of, and I was finding this beginning part a lot easier. When I tried it a few episodes ago, I was really unsure how to get to this sloper on the right, and someone at the gym this day had told me that it's this dynamic kind of coordination move. And I think knowing that that's valid beta, I gave it a few attempts and realized, oh, this is very stickable. So the first thing I was struggling with a lot is, even though I was making the distance, I was completely missing the thumb on the crimp. So there's a small crimp on that right hold. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's what I'm going to, and I just kept missing the thumb. The hand's in the right place, everything, my thumb was just missing. And so in between attempts, I spent a lot of time visualizing, imagining myself making this move, like the point of view that I have when I'm on the wall, and really imagining myself hitting that crimp. And after a couple attempts, it was making a huge difference. I was finally managing to hit the thumb, and now I can just focus on the toe. And yet again, that was another case of using a lot more visualization, imagining myself hitting it and what it feels like. And I'm getting closer and closer with every attempt. Until on this attempt, I finally stick it, and I make the grave error of sticking my left foot on the volume, and I just come off. So on this next attempt, I focus on getting the foot swap here, so I'm still on a little foothold, and I was feeling a lot more confident about this top section. Obviously not easy, but I was feeling a lot better about it. So I flip the left hand to the crimp, I bring the foot up, and this right hand was pretty far, but it's honestly a pretty good hold. And that left foot is just a little bit high, so I just barely make it. But overall, I was really happy about it. And I give some extra oomph on that fist bump because I was so psyched about it. But yeah, I would say visualization is a big thing that I've learned since I was a kid, and I think it's super helpful and underrated in climbing. So those black 4 hex, let's look at the feet here. I place the left foot on that disc and wedge it myself in between with the volume there. So if you had watched previous episodes, I had no idea really how to make this next move, and felt like I was supposed to be able to stand on the volume, the lower one, as that's what I saw a lot of other people doing. And I decided that I can probably wedge my foot in with the other volume, but it is difficult. I don't know what makes this move so hard, but I was finding it very difficult to consistently get my right foot to that volume. I really don't know what's the difference between each of these attempts. And once I do finally stick it so that I can get the match, that throw to the side pull is really hard. So unfortunately I don't get the send on that, but I was really happy with the creative process there in being able to get that match onto that sloper and trying to figure out the feet. So this black 4 hex is something I returned to as well, and I think it is really hard. I kind of went into this not expecting to send it. Essentially coming around the arete with only that one crimp that's really high, it's so hard to apply any real force to the right, or to keep myself to the right. So I'm trying to go really slowly, but I do fall out. And so this attempt, I try and go up with my chalk bag and try and see if I can make this move any better. And it's very, very difficult to get around that arete. So I decide that it's really not for me, and I move on. I move on to this green 4 hex. So I tried this a few sessions ago, and it's definitely something that I really want to get. I'd say that this was definitely one of the projects of my at this gym. And coming to that blocked crimp was proving to be kind of difficult again. I think my main focus after here, I go up pretty dynamically, and I kind of remember that, oh, the real strategy or beta is to go up, inch myself very slowly and go a little bit more statically until I do land it. But from here, wow, I feel like I'm supposed to match the left hand somehow, and I switched from a 3-finger crimp to a 2-finger on the left hand, and I'm trying to get that 3rd finger in, but I just could not. So here again, I try and go nice and slow, trying to switch the hands. I get like, I just couldn't make the match. I think matching is hard and something I need to work on a little bit more. But even if I get that swap, I think that last move is going to be very difficult. So here we are in Hive Fan instead. This is 3 days later, and I'm warming up on this pink 3 hex. It felt pretty chill, nothing too crazy, and honestly I think it was pretty well set. But honestly nothing crazy, but just a warm up. This orange 4 hex was one that I thought looked really soft. I was pretty sure I was going to flash it. And I will say it was definitely interesting in the sense that I found myself cutting feet a lot more than I was expecting to. And so I do recognize it's pretty dynamic, but all the holes are just jugs. Like here I even considered not even using the higher left hand. And I do think the first move is a little bit tricky, but yeah, I was glad to have gone at least 4 hex right off the start of my session. So this black 4 hex is a paddle dyno, and if you had watched previous episodes, I was so close to an orange paddle dyno in Missouri. And so I was so happy to hit this on the 3rd attempt. This is my first ever paddle dyno that I've ever gotten in any of the Hive locations, and I think my 2nd paddle lifetime. So I was so excited to get this. And the top part wasn't too bad, but I was so excited that I wanted to make sure that I locked this in. It's not every day I get to do a paddle, so I wanted to see if I could do it 3 times in a row, and let my body kind of remember it a little bit better. And yeah, I think a big thing I was thinking about on that attempt, or on that climb, was making sure to use my arms a little bit more, pulling myself into the wall, and made a huge world of difference, as well as just all the other things I had been learning from all my previous dynos. So on this blue, I thought it was a very dynamic swing to the far hold and a toe hook, but as I try it and I end up in this position, I realize, oh, I can just go to the trapezoid. And so here, I realized I can dyno and try and stick the toe, but it's pretty tough. I practiced just going from there just to see what's the final position I need to be in, give my body a chance to figure out and remember what it should feel like. So I'm pretty close on that attempt, and I recognized that I was too low on the left toe. So here I go a little bit higher and realize, oh, I just completely missed. And I'm feeling closer there, but I really gotta make sure I keep that left toe into the wall. So again, here I realize I'm too low. So on my next attempt, I try and go a lot higher. And I go too high here that my toe doesn't even touch the hold. And I was confused because I was like, that felt so right. What happened to the hold? I give it a quick attempt there, trying to see if I can just swap the feet. But eventually I do decide that I'm pretty sure this toe hook will work. And just like that, I stick the toe and I realize I am stuck. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get out of this, so I decide I'm just going to dyno and launch myself up there and slide off completely. So I give this top section a few tries, trying to see if there's any way I can move anything. Can I press with the left hand or anything, and can I move the right foot? Can I release the toe hook? I'm really looking around for something because I can't imagine that it's just this awkward dyno towards the top half. So I try and step onto that hold, but none of that makes sense, so I end up deciding that I'm going to try and commit to the dyno towards the top. So on that attempt, I try and go both hands, one hand to each. And I think one big subtle difference that I didn't even intend to do on this next attempt is moving the right foot. So here, watch me move this right foot. Oh, never mind. It was not that attempt. Here's a subtle... I think I tried there and I just didn't stick the toe properly, but here I'm moving the right foot a lot further to the right. So when I throw for the dyno, I am not being thrown as far to the right, and it's more of a straight up jump, and I get the send. So I was really, really happy about that. That's kind of 2 coordination-y climbs that I sent, and it was just getting better. Because here we are on this purple 4 hex, which I had tried last session. I gave a few attempts to it and was really struggling with it. And this section is a little bit tricky because all the holds are just in a line and you really have to apply a lot of pressure. And then this move to the far crimp on the right is actually like pretty hard as well. It feels just really far. But from there, I managed to get over to the right, get the crimp, and it's really hard to generate enough force to throw right to that finish hold. But I managed to stick it, and I was really proud of myself for this one. This purple 4 hex felt very difficult last time, and so to be able to get it, I was just super psyched. I decided to hop onto this blue 4 hex after one of my friends was telling me that this was her recent project and she got the send on it. So I decided to give it at least a quick look, and it seemed very not my style. Lots of these tiny crimps. And I go for the match here because I touched the crimp and went, oh, that felt awful. Yeah, that left crimp felt awful, and then I realized, oh, I'm going to this other crimp as well. And so I get a heel hook up, and I go for the throw, and I just hop off because, wow, it felt so bad on my tendons. I don't understand how in the world I'm supposed to get this. So I try and see if I can just go all the way to the top, but as I throw, I realize that that's basically impossible. So similar to the orange towards the beginning of the episode, I decide I'm gonna go for the start, just give it my all, and just see what happens. So here, again with the small crimp, and decide to throw to the other crimp, and oh, I do fall. I think it's very close to the limit of what I can handle, and doing even just that whole starting section just tires me out too much. I try and commit to the big throw there, and unfortunately I do miss. It feels really far. I try again on this attempt where I try and twist the right foot and bring my hip closer to the wall, but that still just doesn't make any sense, so I decide to move on. This is orange 4 hex. That is a running start, and although I stuck it there, I completely dabbed on that green hold on the left foot. So I decided to give it another try, trying to do it cleanly, and I luckily do. And honestly, this orange 4 hex was pretty easy. Pretty much just can you do the running start. Honestly, I think it should have been a 3, just like that other overhang orange, but that meant I already had 5 4 hexes for today, which is crazy for me. I think on a good day I usually get 3, maybe 4, but in van I'm usually getting like 1 or 2, and I'm happy with that, so 5 felt incredible. So this blue 4 hex, I just got myself in a weird position here because I recognize that should be an undercling, but just the fact that I went up instead of left me in that awkward position. So on this next attempt, what I do is I focus on switching the feet here, and I was really happy to be able to even get the foot swap because I think foot swaps are usually very hard for me, and you definitely have to be accurate there. But yeah, I managed to get to the undercling. I have the higher right foot. I match here, and I realize, oh, I probably need to get my left foot a little higher. But wow, this next move feels very far, and I'm not entirely sure what to do. So I give it another go, just trying to see what my body kind of decides on. Again, the foot swap's a little challenging, but I'm happy to be able to stick it. I go straight to that middle foothold, and I try and bring the right foot there too, but the positioning feels so bad and my foot just slips. So we end up back in Hive Surrey for my last session of the week, starting off on this green 3 hex, which was honestly pretty straightforward. I wish I had recorded one of the other climbs, which I think will also become a 3. It's currently ungraded, because I thought it was pretty cool, and maybe I'll try and film it in a later episode. But instead, I hop onto this orange 4 hex, and I thought even just that beginning felt really hard to keep the feet on the wall and involved a lot of clamp twisting here. And here I'm trying to figure out the correct hands because I really want to go left hand to that crimp so that I can go right hand to the next slipper. But once I go right hand, I realize, oh, I think I've made a grave mistake. I try and see if I can match, but I think matching is just way too hard. Definitely not a skill that I'm good at. And so I have another idea that I actually happened to see one of my friends do before this, which is just to go straight left from that side pull. And from there, the top half, for me at least, felt pretty straightforward. I think I saw a lot of people struggling with that top section a little, but for me, again, dual text felt great. But unfortunately, wow, that one orange climb, this is what, the beginning of my session, and I was feeling pumped. I was feeling really gassed, and you could tell just being on this orange 5 hex how hard I was finding it. So I am struggling yet again on just the beginning section here. And eventually I do get through it. And the mental difference that I made was when I'm placing that right foot up, that right toe before I throw it to the crimp, I really need to stay nice and high, nice and flexed so that I can stick the foot easy. So here I'm trying to figure out the feet. I figure it out, but then I realize, oh, I still need to get the right thumb into the thumb hold. So I switch feet, adjust the hand, get the right foot, get the right thumb into the bolt hold, and from there I'm trying to get this match, but I completely burn out. It was very tiring. So on my next attempt, I do finally get the match here, and I feel really close to the top, but wow, it is just slightly, I don't know, I think maybe I'm lacking a certain amount of contact strength. I think that was gonna be one of the best attempts I get for a bit. So I really hope I get that in the future, and we come back to this black 4 hacks. Again, I'm really struggling just to get that right foot to the volume. I still have no idea what is the difference between my good attempts and bad attempts. Because here I managed to stick it with a lot less issue. And I really want to get that right foot onto the volume, but I feel like if I move that right foot at all, I'm gonna just fall off. So I do throw for that right hand, but ultimately I think this climb was too hard and it's being taken down.